Okay, I wanted to show you guys just in case you ever have to troubleshoot. I mean, I'm still learning, but it's fun and fairly easy. I finally fixed the reverb unit. It's on right now. You can hear there's no popping. Actually, the basement's making a little staticky noise. I may have a leaky coupling capacitor in the basement. I'll have to check those good. We checked them once, but we didn't check them the correct way. I'll show you the correct way. Either way, the popping noise, see, this is the input on the reverb, and it goes to the 12A, the first half of the 12A7, then the second half of the 12AT7, then goes to the 6K6GT power tube, and this goes into the reverb unit right here. See, reverb unit. So when I had the mix knob all the way off, there was no popping sound, so I assumed that it had to be going. You could hear it popping through the spring, so I knew it was going this route. So I, of course, first things you change are the plate resistors, which are, these are the plates, the square boxes. These are the plate resistors right here. I don't think I replaced the 10K. I did all the 100Ks, and it still had the pop. So I started checking with a meter. Checked the coupling caps. You really can't get a good reading when they're still soldered in, but I checked them. This one seemed to, when I touched it, this .002 microfarads, the popping went away one time, so I thought, well, maybe that's it, but I wasn't sure I'd get that lucky. Either way, I ordered a new SoZo cap. The print shows .002. In the unit was an Astron .003 microfarads. I've ordered, I guess they don't make 002s. I've ordered a .0022 from Tube Depot. It's a SoZo cap, a little more expensive, but I'd heard good things about them. Anyway, I got it Friday. Decided to disconnect, if you disconnect the low voltage end, unsolder this end, and then touch your meter, check for DC leakage, go from ground, your black probe to your chassis, your red probe to the end of the cap, the lead on the cap, and according to Gerald Weber in this book, Tube Guitar Amplifier Essentials, on page 152, what you should know about coupling capacitors. On the second page of that section, how to check coupling capacitors, and he basically says if it measures less than 0.2 volts, the cap is good. Well, I was at 0.9 volts, so I was happy about that because I knew it was bad. Finally, I found something that was actually malfunctioning. So I put it in, and it was all it needed. I'm so happy. It took away all the hum of the unit. I thought, all these old amps just naturally hum, and it even mentions the hum in his book, in Gerald's book. The hum went away. The amp, the power tube seems to work a lot better. It really drives the springs. I get a better signal through the unit now. It sounded good before, but now it sounds really good. I'll try to show you, but if you do want to check your coupling capacitors, which there's one. Actually, this one had a funny reading on it, but I didn't mess with it, and I didn't unsolder it to check it the right way. Actually, I did, and I still couldn't get a good reading on it. I don't know what that was about. But I didn't replace that. That's one of the blue ones. Now that's the schematic to trace the circuit. Trace the circuit. And this is just the actual layout. So even though, so you have to look at the circuit. The 12AT7 is what's really driving the reverb unit. This, it just picks up the signal afterwards, the 7025, and amplifies it for the clean. So you really, so you know you have to mess with the stuff that's in the 12AT7 circuit if it's going through the reverb. So that's how you kind of pinpoint where the problem might be. And it was this cap right here. I think I can't see. Let me look here. That's the .01. That's not it. No, it was this one right here. Comes off of the plate. This is plate grid cathode filament, plate grid cathode. It's always the same. So that comes off of the plate, and then you can trace it. But yeah, I replaced this, and also replace this. Once I replace this, you got to get the black stripe goes on the bottom. That's the outside coil, which goes towards the input. The input signal comes in here, goes in there. So SoZo explains that on their website. If you put it backwards, it'll work, but you'll get more hum because it's not grounded correctly, or it doesn't shield it correctly. That's what it is. So the high voltage signal comes in here, and that's where the black line is. If you look at all the other ones, the black line is on the bottom where all the high voltage signals coming in from the tubes. Either way, hopefully that helps you guys if you ever need to. I'm going to check oh, excuse me. Check all of my caps sooner or later, even though I hate to change them. The SoZo caps seem to be a good replacement. They even have a vintage model, which is more expensive, handmade. But if you do start getting some hum, extra hum, and some popping, you might want to check those caps. See if I can give you a little example. It's been on the whole time. You can probably tell it's a lot more quiet than the other videos I had. It's even more Fender tone.